couldn't do that or anything close to it 2 years ago. And honestly, for a long time, I didn't understand why. Like, I was practicing every day, I was putting in the hours, I was taking lessons, buying courses, and I was still pretty stuck. I still run into that now. I don't think it ever ends, but I finally broke through a few ceilings with my lead guitar playing and speed that I want to share with you today. But what I eventually figured out is it wasn't a talent problem, and it wasn't really an effort problem because I was putting in the time. There were 3 mistakes that I now recognize that I was making that were really holding me back. And once I fixed them, my lead guitar playing changed completely. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through all 3 mistakes that I was making, so hopefully you can stop making them and finally break through some of your lead guitar soloing plateaus. And I promise that if you're not sounding like you want to with your soloing, you're making at least one of these mistakes. Mistake number 1, you're practicing the right things, but the wrong way. So here's what I mean. Here's what most intermediate guitarists do when something sounds sloppy. They slow it down, or even worse, they just practice it at random speeds, and they just run through it over and over and over and over again, basically hoping that repetition itself will iron the mistakes out. And they call that their practice. But here's the problem with that. Simply mindlessly repeating it over and over, it doesn't really fix the thing that needs to be fixed. Because if you haven't identified the actual cause of the sloppiness or the thing that's holding you back, you're not going to actually get better. It doesn't matter if you practice 4 hours a day. So let's say you've got a run that breaks down at the same exact part every single time. Let's say it's something like that. Let's say it starts falling apart specifically when you change strings from the B back to the high E. From right there. Downstroke on the B to upstroke on the E. You have to break things down and have enough awareness, and later, like we'll talk about, have some coaching most likely, to be able to identify these sorts of things, to be able to say, okay, every time I cross strings with my pick at this exact point, my pick is hitting the string. And then the fix for that would be to angle your pick a certain way so that the tip of the pick can escape just barely over the adjacent string that you're trying to clear before continuing your alternate picking. See, most players would just not even use a metronome first of all, and they would just repeat this lick over and over. And they would just, for 20 minutes straight. And they wonder why it's not getting better. So it doesn't even matter if you systematically go from slow gradually to fast. If you don't solve the issue, which in this case was angling your pick so that the tip of the pick escaped over the string in the right way, if you don't fix a small detail like that, you're never going to get it at the higher speeds. You're never going to play it as cleanly as you want to at tempo. And that's the difference between practice that actually works and practice that, just fills up time, basically, which is what I was doing. So mistake number 1 is that you're practicing the right things, you're putting in the hours, but you're not practicing them the right way. You're not zooming in and fixing the exact mechanical issue at the exact spot, very zoomed in, and then putting the sequence back together. That's what you need to do. Zoom in, fix the exact mechanical issue at the exact right spot, and then put the notes all back together. But here's the thing, even if you nail that process of zooming in, fixing the nano detail, and then putting it back together, even if you do that and you got that down, this next mistake number 2, will convince you that you're not making progress. And that's where most people start quitting. So mistake number 2 is that you're measuring your progress by macro wins and macro expectations long term. But you need to measure your progress by daily micro wins. When I was trying to finally tackle the intro to Cliffs of Dover, I practiced it for months and months. I practiced it for years off and on, like a decade basically, and I wasn't getting it. And that feeling's one of the most demoralizing things in the world. But what I didn't realize at the time is that I was measuring the wrong thing, basically. Every single session, I would sit down and I would run through the song and be pissed if I couldn't get it at full tempo that day. And every single day I couldn't do it. So it was extremely frustrating. I almost quit guitar because of it. But that's the exact problem. Like asking yourself every day, can I play this at full speed right now? That's the macro goal. That's the long term. That's what you're eventually aiming for. But that isn't the goal today. And measuring yourself against that destination, that final goal every day, when you're nowhere near it, that's like stepping on the scale every morning after one day of dieting and wondering why you haven't, lost weight and you don't have abs yet. It destroys your motivation before your technique even has the chance to catch up. So here's what I do instead. I walk into every single practice session with one micro goal in mind. So not like, can I play this at full speed today? It's like, for example, from the previous mistake, can I get better at at angling my pick so that I escape over the string on the string transition? Can I just get a little bit better at that today? Or can I get better at, alternate picking with a more relaxed wrist movement on one single string? And then maybe add just one other string. So that would be like, can I get better at that relaxed wrist movement? Can I add one string? That sort of fast speed doesn't come in one day. You can't expect to do that in one day. You have to start with, can I just do a nice relaxed wrist movement here? Or 3, 4. You have to start measuring these micro goals, these small, tiny wins every day. Because here's the thing, 10 sessions of one tiny improvement is going to get you a lot further than 10 sessions of, hitting your head against the wall at full speed, wondering why you don't have it yet. And that's how progress actually works. It's a compound effect. It's not in huge, giant leaps. It's just one tiny detail at a time. So mistake number 2 is that you're measuring your progress based on macro expectations and not micro daily wins. But here's the thing, even if you fix mistake number 1 and fix mistake number 2, for a lot of us, this was the case for me at least, if you don't fix mistake number 3, it's going to be really hard to progress, at least as fast as you want. And that is that you're trying to do it alone. So mistake number 3 essentially is that you're not getting feedback from someone who can actually do what you want to be able to do and who's really good at seeing what you're doing wrong so that you can fix it. So just to give you an example of this, I will tell you about a guy named Joshua Voiles. So I'd been grinding for years at this point, and I wasn't improving. Well, I was improving, but very slowly, and I was hitting walls. And there was still a ceiling of skill and speed that I couldn't break through. Specific technical issues that I couldn't diagnose on my own. But then I started working with Joshua. I found his work and his coaching, and he immediately spotted the things in my technique that I had completely missed. And it wasn't vague stuff. It was very specific mechanical things, and he gave me actual actionable feedback and advice on how to fix it. So with his help, that's when I was able to finally play the intro to Cliffs of Dover, clean, at tempo. And that's something that I had been chasing for years. And that was the, final missing piece for me. And the truth is, for most of us, we're not going to break through as fast as we want to in an echo chamber. We need someone with real technical expertise who can watch us play and actually tell us this is what's going wrong and this is exactly how you fix it. Not general advice, not like practice more slowly or things like that. Like you need someone to give you specific diagnostic targeted feedback. That's the difference between spinning your wheels for another 5 years and making the progress that you actually want to make. So let's recap. Mistake number 1, you're practicing the right things the wrong way. You need to stop running through the whole entire solo over and over at random speeds. You need to diagnose the exact micro issue, isolate it, and then fix it. Mistake number 2, you're measuring progress by macro expectations instead of micro wins. You need to pick one tiny thing to improve every day, and you need to win with that, even if it's just a small improvement. Those wins will stack up over time, because you have to remember, mastery is micro wins stacked up over time. Mistake number 3, you're not getting feedback from someone who is at the level you want to be at and who can actually give you expert feedback. You need to find someone with real technical expertise who can watch you play, tell you specifically what's going wrong and exactly how to fix it. Those 3 things kept me stuck for years, and once I fixed them, I'm still not anywhere near I want to be on a guitar, and I still have I had a frustrating day today, but I am way better than I ever thought possible, and I can play things now that I honestly thought I was never going to be able to play. So if that resonates with you and you want to go deeper on how to actually build an effective practice routine from the ground up, I made another video right here that breaks down the whole thing step by step. So if you want to dive into that a little bit further, go ahead and click this video right here.